we're getting flooded with people having dreams, having visions, having stuff just coming to them almost as though they're remembering. Let's jump into the video that was created that you couldn't wait to post. David made it, and Trevor's like, I woke up this morning and it was already on there. I'm like, what is this? This is no, like, that's how powerful this is.
So many people already, this thing posted, we posted at 3 a.m. and it's already, for that time, for a short, it's getting really good traction. And the comments are like, I've had this same memory. Like, I've already had 3 people in the comments, if you go right now and look at it, that says, I know somebody who had this and this and this and this. This is called I Remember. The war before time, the eternal battle that shaped our destiny.
Welcome into a special episode. Again, no David today, so we're just going to call this the Key of Shane podcast.
All right.
I don't know. That has it's cool.
No, your Baldwin sounds better.
Oh, Key of Baldwin. Yeah.
Sounds better.
Welcome into another first ever Key of Baldwin podcast. My name is Shane Baldwin, and I'm joined by Trevor the Keys. Hey, Trevor, before we jump into this, your last name, and I've known your family pretty much my whole life. Keys.
Yep.
Where'd that name come from? That's not a common name. You're the only Keys that I've ever met, just so you know.
There's hardly any, in fact. There's a lot of Kais. They spell it the exact same way, but we have absolutely no relation. Like, we've gone back and back and back. We're not related at all.
And your dad's name is not to, like, put you on the spot, but your dad's name is Michael Keys.
Yep, Michael Keys.
And I don't know. I'm just saying that the doctrine in the church is that Michael is going to show up at Adam on Diamond and deliver all the keys.
Hey, well, we better keep Michael alive if that's what he's got to do something on those. There's a fun story of keys.
If you're watching this, I hope you have those keys stored away. And when you get that phone call that it's time to go to Adam on Diamond, I'm excited that I know you. Like, I know the guy who has all the keys. So if anybody's out there is clutching those keys, just know I know Michael Keys.
Yes.
How about that?
We've got it covered. If only it was that simple. But funny story, when I was little, and I've asked my dad this, and he's like, I don't remember this, but it happened. When I was little, there was Stuart, the janitor. I was in 2nd grade, and this was at Marlon Hills Elementary School, and Stuart had this massive key ring. And I was so fascinated by it as a little kid, because I noticed that he could open anything. He, literally any door in the whole entire school that broke could open, right? And we were doing one of those things where it's like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was talking about it at home with the family and stuff, and I said, I want to be a janitor. And my dad was like, really? Tell me why. I can just imagine what he's thinking. And I'm like, because Stuart, he's the most powerful. He can open every door. He can do anything. And my dad said, let me tell you something. Our name is Keys. Your name is Keys. And what I discovered in my life is the person that holds the keys isn't the most powerful. He said the principal tells Stuart what to do. And this principal says, open this door, Stuart. And Stuart opens it for him. He's like, so in your life, seek to hold as few keys as possible. Something like that, right? And then truly you will be powerful, or some sort of thing. Like, in my mind, that's what I came up with. I'm like, okay, less keys. So anybody that knows me, I am keyless. I have my key to my car. Now with my new car, I have no key. I have no keys to my house. Literally, I have no keys to my office. I carry zilch zero. I'm all codes. No keys.
And I'm a little different. I got my keys in my pocket. So, like, I don't go anywhere without my keys. These are some of my keys right here.
And that stresses me out. There's so many there. Like, why do you need all of that?
Well, this is an important key. This is a key that whenever I need to make a wish, I use this key. Okay. This is a key to, you can see that. This is to light car.
You got too many on there. Like, that's just too, like, those go in your pockets.
Hold on. Mailbox.
Yep.
House.
Yep, you don't need those.
Office. Like, I got everything covered all on this key ring. And it's like this big bulky thing that I carry with me because I'm clutching these things. These are my keys. No kidding. Take my key.
It makes you a little nervous when you do give someone your keys, you know, there's a lot of I mean, even, like, to a valet, you're like, "Ugh." So there's symbolic, you know, there's some symbology, something in there.
There is,
Mhm.
for sure.
And then the other funny part is I'm the last keys, like, literally in our entire family history, going all the way back, my aunt's done all this genealogy. I mean, we're talking to Charlemagne, to cool thing with family search, you can go all the way back, right? But that's it. I mean, and my dad told me as a little boy, like this, he does remember hundreds of times, hundreds. Have boys, son. Make sure you have boys. We need to keep the family name. And and four sisters, just me. And then I had three daughters, no boys.
So, what does that mean?
Means that I failed my father's. Oh, well, it means one of my daughters.
We are not done yet. There is a keys that is up in heaven right now, and he's like, Dad, I am coming. I'm coming. All he's got to do is find the right one because I guarantee it, he ain't done yet.
Listen, Quinn, my 11-year-old, thinks that she's going to convince her husband to take her name. And I've got a wedding present for her if she does.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a strategy, but I actually like this strategy. Hey, if you're related to Joseph Smith, I think it would be cool. And we've talked about this. I think it would be cool if you can find if you're out there, and I'm a purist, so I'm a Smith line. Sorry, Brigham Young line people, you're not going to qualify for what I'm looking for here. But I think if you had the Michael Keys line
Okay. Yeah.
with
Like
that Hiram Joseph Smith line, and they converge.
now, if I could arrange something like that, I for sure would be down. That'd be cool. So you're saying essentially siring my father's line through the bloodline of Joseph or Hiram through someone like that?
Yes.
That'd be cool. That'd be almost it almost feels a little wrong. Is it wrong or no?
I'm just putting it out there. I mean, I think they used to do this stuff like there's something to this stuff. I mean, the kings and the queens and the principalities of old, that's what they would do to keep the bloodline kind of lined up that way, right? So it
Joseph and Emma planned their conception around lunar solar calendar dates and full moons and different stuff like that. So I mean, there's something, but it would be cool. So if anyone's out there, I am single, ready to mingle, but you gotta be what, a direct descendant of Joseph or Hiram.
in that line, I think that line, like if we look at like Joseph Fielding Smith, I mean, it's just you need to tie into that Smith. Will you tie into there?
And then you gotta be what, 30 to 48 years old and willing to deal with the crazy person in your life, right? Or maybe not willing, maybe just surrogacy and in vitro, right? Like,
I don't I think it needs to happen in the proper form and function. I get it that we have all this technology, but my personal belief and gut to get this right, to do this right, you know, there's gotta be a special way of doing
what are you
it.
looking at? What are you looking at there?
There's a truck that just pulled up in my driveway. I don't know who it is.
So we want to say that for everybody watching this that's going to do a YouTube video on Trevor Keys siring the heir of Joseph Smith, like we're joking. We do Bigfoot episodes and UFO episodes and we talk about silly things, but joking, not joking, Shane, it would be legit, right? Like you're super distracted by that, whatever that is.
Yeah, Angie just came in here and she's like, "There's a black truck." And fortunately, I have these beautiful cameras from Smart Path that distract me a little bit. And we'll get into that. Listen, if you wife needs a kiss.
Hi, Ange.
We're in the middle of a podcast. This is how it goes. She just
Yesterday, I was a third wheel on you guys' date, so I feel it's appropriate that and she can be a third wheel on our podcast.
Thanks, guys. Hope you're doing great.
Yeah, dude, honestly, like the friendship that Trevor and I have created is pretty cool because you ever have those friends that your wife's like, I can't stand him. You know what I'm saying? And it's like this you're like, this is my friend. Like, not the case with Trevor. Um, she's always like, "Hey, we're going to dinner. Do you want to see if Trevor wants to come?" I'm like,
Yeah, well, I mean, we could have conversations without you and be fully enjoyed, so
half the time, I'm just the one listening to these two talk about all their crazy conspiracies and everything that's going on, and I was just like, "Okay." So no, it's awesome. It's super cool. So really grateful to have good people like that. I think that's part of how you create that oneness is it's like you share these things in common. So super cool. Okay, so Trevor, um, we're doing this show because we're getting flooded with people having dreams, having visions, having stuff just coming to them almost as though they're remembering. They're remembering from a time long, long ago. I mean, I'm talking the stuff that we're seeing right now and the stuff that we're getting and the emails and the stuff we're being inundated with and kind of sifting through. It's like, holy cow, there's an awakening happening out there, and so we're doing things to say, how do we capture this? Because not everybody wants to come on and share their experience, even though their experience is powerful. And so
in fact, most don't, like 90% do not. They're not willing to come on, but just I'm opening my email. Shane gets 4 times more email than me because I haven't put my email out there publicly. Listen to what is on my feed right now. I am a prophetess. That's the subject. Okay. Haven't opened that one. Um, let's see here. Shane, your prophet gifting equals as Noah. Don't know what that one is. Haven't opened that one. A word just for you, not to be shared with others. All right. That's just unopened since 10 this morning. Right. And I'm getting like 4 to 6 a day. And some of them are crazy, like bona fide, like, oh, this is a mental health breakdown. Some of them are incredible. And one of those we're going to show you right now and talk a little bit about it. But before we do, Shane, let's talk about what Zion streaming is going to be and how what we're about to show you is going to become an integral piece of Zion streaming.
yeah, as you guys know, we're building a studio, and one of the our initiatives is to create the easiest way for me to explain it is Netflix for Mormons. A platform, a streaming platform that has a variety of content from the Living Scriptures remastered, redone in our own way with our own script, with our own animation, to
Just think about that alone. I've had my friends and family say, if you could redo Living Scriptures and make it good, which we can, okay, trust me, we can do it way better than what they did.
we're doing a Doctrine and Covenants. We're doing a church history. Like it's way more expansive than just what we remember in the 90s as the Living Scriptures.
So imagine 30, 40 episodes on the Book of Mormon with this beauty that you can create with AI and with the scripting and with the imagery and with the voices. And we can do it for a fraction of the cost of what you could do it for 5 years ago.
Yeah. So that's a component. Then we're going to have a daily wire, but imagine LDS style, where we'll have lots of people that are in the LDS media, LDS podcast, LDS social media space. They'll have their own show, their own platform, and they'll be on this platform, Zion Streaming. So we'll have that. One of the shows I'm really excited about is the TMZ show, where we're going to cover all the rumor mill, all the crazy stuff happening.
It's like our own page 6. We should probably call it like page 6 or something.
Yeah, something that'll be on there. But then there's going to be some original content like Angel Studios type of stuff. Some of them will be movies, of them will be series, and all of that's going to exist on this platform, Zion Streaming. We're currently building up. Oh, and the other thing, we're currently curating all of this content, and this is a big, big task. And so, if anybody out there knows how to curate content, please reach out to us. We're looking to hire people. We need people that know how to go and get God's Army so we can have that on there. The best 2 years. Um, what's the one? Johanna, you ugly. What is Mahana? Mahana,
In Cal wife or what?
something like that. I don't know. There's so many LDS stuff that was even created in the 60s, 70s, and 80s that we're curating and we want to put on this platform in case you want to watch that kind of content as well. So there will be thousands and thousands and thousands of titles and features. Some of it original, some of it that's already been done, some of that you would find similar to what's on YouTube. But this
What I'm really excited about, really excited about, and we're filming this first episode soon here, like before March, is Latter Day Chad and I are filming 10 episodes and we're going all across the US, a little bit into Central America, and we're looking at ancient structures that prove the authenticity and the story of the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. Do you have a title for that? Like, what's that going to be called?
We don't. We keep going back and forth on nothing feels good yet.
Okay. Well, that's going to be cool as well. So it's a lot of things just like that. But what we're going to show you is a concept of kind of what we can do, and literally it was a lot of work. Thank you, David Douglas, because he's the only one guy we have. And the truth is, we need to hire animators and editors.
Yeah.
And we're serious about it. We don't have massive budgets. And so this would be something where you would have to agree to come on, and we would say, hey, you're kind of helping build this with us. Maybe there's some
Like tithe your efforts, donate your time towards Zion, do it as a hobby, get involved.
yeah, get involved. And there's some, I'm sure we can figure out a way, and maybe it ends up being this full-time gig where once the entity becomes profitable, you can end up making money with us. But right now we're trying to do the best job we can with what we've been given. And I wish we had, billions of dollars to do everything that we want to do. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. But we have these really big plans, and it does cost money, so we are going to need some help along the way.
And we have been blessed with amazing partners that have who's there?
It's my wife again, and guess what she needs?
Oh, she needs the keys, of course. And you look nice. Look at you.
Listen, I scored. I can't believe this. Every day I look at her and I pinch myself to be like, am I dreaming? Like, did this really happen?
She's pretty cute. You got lucky.
Feel that way about their wife. So thank you, honey. Okay,
The best.
not fun.
Okay. Well,
Bubbling in the face, Shane.
are you taking the Porsche?
It's at an angle so I can kick it out.
Angie, don't hit any cars going out today, okay?
Dad, I already looked at it. I won't do it this time.
Okay. I see what I did there? I just
Ye-
gave her one.
Did you confer upon her that key or did you give her that key?
That one, that was given.
That was given.
Earned though.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I don't remember what we were talking about, editors and different stuff like that.
We were just talking about, listen, we're going to need really talented.
I know what it was. I do know what it was. We've been blessed. We had somebody come to us a while ago and basically say, I want to be a silent partner and give you guys funds to do whatever you want. And that's how we're doing a lot of this. Up till that point, Shane and I have been spending ourselves.
The truth is, we didn't take as much as he wanted to give us.
Less than half.
Because I'm like, I think we can. And at this time, our ideas were like this big. And now they're like this big.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, you know what? We maybe should
more. Yeah.
Well, you said that. I'm like, no, dude, I think I need to listen to Trevor when it comes to this. Because now I'm going like, okay, yeah, to build out the animation, it's expensive. It's super expensive.
It's hundreds of thousands of dollars for the animation.
Yeah, it's way more than we anticipated. So
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is only to express like how grateful we are and the synchronicities that are happening in this. Shane and I have families. I have 2 businesses. Shane has 3 businesses, so like we're barely fulfilling those duties and trying to be dads. And, luckily I'm not married. I don't know how he's fitting that time in. So we're doing all of this on the side. This is a side gig for us, people. Okay. So like, if you're watching this and if you want to get involved and you want to help and you have time and you're talented, like reach out to us, lock arms with us. We need help. And if you're some rich Bitcoin billionaire LDS guy, software dude who's sitting in Alpine watching this, like, come join us, help us. We need
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm concerned for our youth. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this. We're making a ton of like music that is legit. Like I make 2
Can
songs.
you pull the word of wisdom one? Can you do the word of wisdom one?
I sent it to you. Can you pull it up here?
Probably. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, like we are creating things because I
One called chain. Is it lock it down or is it different?
lock it down is about the law of chastity.
Okay.
Game plan is about the word of wisdom.
All right.
Uh,
Let me find that.
and we want to create full-on music videos. I mean, ultimately, we want to produce these. I mean, all of this Zion streaming will also have all of our music on it. So we are doing the best job we can as really like 3 guys between.
Whoops. Sorry about that.
That was it.
Yeah, I wasn't ready. I didn't mean to talk on top of you. So
No, go.
let's see here. I think this will work. Okay, so this is all on Word of Wisdom, right? And how this came about was Shane had created this song that had a rap element inside of it, and I said, "Can we create rap with this? Like good rap?" And he's like, "I don't know." So he's just like, "What should we do it on?" I'm like, "Word of Wisdom," and this is the second song that came out.
They told me wisdom bring the power, so I flipped the page. Got that spirit on my side, man, I'm feeling paid. What you put inside your mind gon' determine how you climb. I seen them sipping just to cope. Now they stuck, they losing hope. Ayy, no poison in my veins. Yeah, my soul stay clean. Discipline on lock, yeah, I'm built like a king. They be smoking, they be sleeping, but my vision stay mean. I be jogging up the ladder while they drown in routine. Melodic, auto-tune flow. Yeah, look, I ain't here to judge, I just play the game right. Treat my body like a temple, yeah, I'm taking that flight. I keep my mind sharp, yeah, my vision stay clear. I move like a boss, got no poison in here. If you wanna fly high, gotta keep that soul tight. It's that word of wisdom living, yeah, we shining so bright. Yeah. They say, what about the green? I ain't hating, just saying. Why you tryna numb the mind when you could train it like a player? They be laughing at the profits, but their bodies decayed. I be laughing to the bank, yeah, my health getting paid. No caffeine in my veins, but my drive insane. They be drinking just to function, I be up unchained. I be eating all that fuel, yeah, my temple is flames. I ain't clouded by addiction, I got wealth in my lane. Look, I ain't here to judge, I just play the game right. If you tryna elevate, gotta see the next height. I keep my mind sharp, yeah, my vision stay clear. I move like a boss, got no poison in here. If you wanna fly high, gotta keep that soul tight. It's that word of wisdom living, yeah, we shining so bright.
Chop, heavy bass, Weezy style, switch up flow.
Yeah. Clean mind, clean grind, energy divine. I ain't need a sip to get this high, it's all design. Pure life, pure time, I stay in my prime. Spirit on me heavy, man, I swear it's all aligned. Yeah, I be floating way up in the sky now. Ain't no weight holding me, I ain't tied down. If you tryna win the game, take the high route. It's that word of wisdom way, let's ride out. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. I'm not used to Apple Music. I'm a YouTuber. But just like first swing, this was the first swing at, and I think I heard you say to Abel as you were making this, you're like, we need to make the word of wisdom cool again. Or something like that, right?
Yeah, like I understand if I were Satan and I wanted to program negativity and bad behavior and sin into the children, I would use music and melodies and beats that sound good and they get hooked to the beat, and that but they don't even understand the words that are coming in. But the subconscious does.
Yeah, it does.
And we've got to combat that. We have the tools, we have the technology now to combat that. It's not just now only in the hands of the elites. It's not only in the hands of Universal. Like we can do this. And we can use media. We can use the same tools that Satan has used to, I guess, push his plan forward.
It's almost like we're using a reverse Uno card.
Exactly. Okay, Trev, let's jump into the video that was created that you couldn't wait to post. David made it, and Trevor's like, I woke up this morning and it was already on there. I'm like, what is this? This no, like, that's how powerful this is.
Yeah, it really.
I found some things and I'm like, hey, David, there's some things. He said, I didn't think he was posting this right away. This was just like my first draft. I thought we'd go through and make some edits. He was up till 3 a.m. making this. But Trevor was just like, no. This needs to get out there. And we're already starting to get traction on it. But we wanted to cover it in a podcast to give some context because it's really powerful. If there's one thing we don't have a ton of information about, honestly, I mean, we have more than most, but it's what we refer to as the pre-mortal or pre-this earth life. I hate the term pre-existence, is that would mean that you never existed. So that pre-existence doesn't even compute as something that
It doesn't bug me because I just see it as like a pre-incarnation. You know, it's like, yeah, I existed prior to this. Yep.
Yeah. My pre-existence to this existence
Yep.
would make sense in my brain.
That's how I hear it. But yeah, I get it. Yeah. So this is someone that is very close to me. This is like dear friend for decades and someone that I've looked up to. May or may not have had him on our podcast. And he had this experience throughout his life when he was a kid, somewhere between like 7 and 10 years old. He had a dream, and it was like, we've all had those dreams that are like, that was real, that felt so real, right? And he woke up, and then throughout his life, over the course of like 30 years or so, he would have bits of this dream. We all have those flashbacks, the same dreams. I have a couple different ones. And one of them, my family gets abducted by aliens. It's the worst. Okay. And I probably had it 14 times. But this dream kept coming back. But he said more of it was he was just in like a regular situation, maybe at work, just doing something on a computer. And all of a sudden, he'd remember more of it. Like a piece of it would just like open up in his mind. And some of it was the same as the dream that he had, but some of it was more. And he's like, I'm just like fascinated by this. And I'm like, so like, how long? And he's like, sometimes like I'd see like 60 seconds. He's like, but every time I'm like back there in this space, and sometimes 20, 30 minutes. And he goes, in a matter of like a second, it's like in my brain. And I'm just like, what the heck is going on? So he's been writing these things down for a long time, and I asked him if we could make a video out of it. And so he sent me a Word document, like a Google document, and I took that document, and out of it I pulled what you're going to see here, and it's about 8 minutes, and like we could make 3 or 4 hours out of what's.
So, dude, this could be a whole movie.
Yeah.
Like,
So this
there's
is
so much to this.
This is freaking cool. It's a cool experience. And the reason why we're doing this video is we had so many people already. This thing posted, we posted it at 3 a.m. and it's already, for that time, for a short, it's getting really good traction. And the comments are like, I've had this same memory. Like, I've already had 3 people in the comments. If you go right now and look at it, that says, I know somebody who had this and this and this and this. There's been other things that says, some really cool, deep insight. Like, what about the people that chose God's plan? Did they have, some protection given to them, and what were their blessings? And, he doesn't have any insight on that. But we'll start it, and a couple times through it, we'll stop and have a little commentary. But for the most part, we're just going to let it flow, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Does that work? All right. Let's roll. This is called I Remember. The war before time, the eternal battle that shaped our destiny. So just shout out to David. David made all of the animation. I wrote this from his Google Doc and wrote it in this way. So these are my words with his descriptions, just so that we're fair on what this is. All right, here we go.
Time was measured before the stars were hung in the void. The war before time. Before time was measured, before the stars were hung in the void, before the first breath of mortal air, there was the grand council. God, the eternal, the source of all things, called together all his creations. From the infinite reaches of pre-existence, souls assembled, radiant in their intelligence, vast in their number, bound by a singular purpose, the forging of a new reality. He stood before us, not merely as creator, but as father, and he revealed the great design, a universe, tangible and ordered, where we would take bodies of flesh and walk a path of trial. The risk was severe. Many would not return, some would fall forever. But for those who endured, the reward was beyond measure.
So this was something that was really important to him. He just said that many people, we think that this plan, when God released it, everyone was like, yes, let's go. But it was clear, and God made it clear that many would fall. Like many of your brothers and sisters and loved ones and spouses, like they wouldn't make it. And some would be forever lost through perdition, right? And so while we hear these scriptures of like the angels in heaven, like rejoicing when this happened, yes, this did happen, but at the same time, there was deep contemplation and there was deep mourning. And, you know, it was thoughtfully considered for everyone because God gave us our agency.
To ascend, to evolve, to become as he is.
This is like eternal evolution, essentially.
The plan was set. It was not forced upon us. Each was given the agency to choose, to accept or reject the decree of the Almighty. Many were hesitant, fearful of what was to come. Others burned with the fire of purpose, eager to descend into mortality, and almost
Maybe commentate. I know people are going to be like, nah, like,
They can go back and watch it. This is good. This is good commentary.
so what do you think people were fearful about? Like, have you condensed this? Does it have more? Like, what was it that they were, if God's presenting a plan?
Oh, there's pages of the fear. Pages, like 2 or 3 pages of the fear. Okay, so imagine you're with your wife, right? And you have zero assurances that you'll find each other. You know the suffering that's going to go on. And the only promise that you have is this atonement, right? And finding Christ and accepting Christ. And there is a chance. I mean, you're literally putting Russian roulette, a bullet in a bullet with you and your wife and saying, all right, do we want to do this so that maybe we can reunite and come back here and be like father or more like father, right? And more like mother. And so the fear was like, I don't know, right? And then you'll see why the fear spreads is because Lucifer, he says his name was Lucius. Lucifer comes in.
So do you think that's the fear of like the veil? You're not going to know. So the losing of your memories is like that. Like, how fearful would that be to wake up tomorrow and you don't even remember your name? Because that's what happened.
Yeah, it is what happened. Well, it was worse than that. Okay, it was way worse than that, he says, because if we would have followed a plan like Lucifer or Lucius proposed, it wouldn't matter if you had everything wiped out because everyone would be wrapped into one whole. Everyone would be saved, right? And so it was.
That's my other question. Why does Lucius? So your friend calls him Lucius.
He says that's what his name was, Lucius.
Interesting. So is Lucius like a derivative of Lucius? I know it's like LUC.
It is. It means light bearer.
Okay, so it has the same meaning, but in from what he's remembering, it was Lucius, not Lucifer. And if I were Lucifer, I wouldn't want people to know my real name. I would change my name.
Yeah, he says it's 100%, at least for his experience, whatever this was, it's Lucius.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, so then imagine then all of us understand this, and you know, I think a lot of times I've thought as a kid like this little plan in heaven, like, here's the plan, we're gonna go down to. He's like, no, this probably took place over, maybe decades. I don't know, right? But he's laying out like the consequences of this plan that we're gonna partake on us, and it was known that many would be lost, okay, and would not be on the same evolution path. They'd lose maybe eons of time. They could catch back up, and some would be lost forever. And that's perdition.
Wow.
So it was scary, right? But before Lucius came in with his plan, everyone was like, okay, this is a good plan. Let's do it, but still a little bit concerned, right? But then imagine someone comes weeding in these seeds of doubt. And his plan, he said his plan was better.
Really well thought out. I assume that Lucius was a powerful being, a respected being, and a thoughtful person that had thought through all of the consequences. So I'm sure he had to present things that were logical, that caused people not to doubt for the sake of doubting, but to doubt because these were real viable concerns.
Listen, I told you there's a couple pages, like there's pages on there are pages on why this plan was better, and I've read it and it sounds better. Like Lucius's plan does sound better, and it covers it briefly. Like we cover it for like 90 seconds what it is, but it's this thought of like no one has to be lost. No one has to be lost. There is another way. We can all be saved. We can all wrap back together into one super intelligent, like loving sentience where we're all together, like this Kolob atom where everything black holes together and we're all one. Like it's beautiful. Like when I read it, I'm like, that is beautiful. And that was his plan. And his plan was to save everyone, and it shows it. So let's go.
All agreed. Then the great command was given. The universe was to be created, and for this task God entrusted his greatest and most noble ones. Among them stood the first of this creation, the one we would come to know as Jesus Christ. To him God conferred the authority to bring forth the cosmos. Under his word he gathered others, and together they wove the fabric of reality.
Under his word. I love that.
And lo, the first breath of existence unfurled. The great expansion began. What was once a singularity now stretched forth as an endless sea of galaxies, stars, and worlds. The visible and the invisible were crafted by their hands, bound together by the laws of the divine. But as the first creation was set in motion, Lucius arose, equal in wisdom, a brother of great standing, one of the mightiest of our kin. He stood as creation was set.
There. Okay, I don't know if David who created that image right there.
Well, there's kind of like subtext of what he looks like. So I just included,
So this guy, when he had this, because I haven't read the whole paper. Like I haven't read everything that you received. I know you sent it to me. I got so much stuff that I'm just like, holy crap. Like I got to like set aside 4 hours to go read this thing. It's like a book in and of itself.
it's 68 pages of 10 font.
Yeah. So it's like, that's a lot. So it describes what Lucius looks like. And so, okay. So then as you and David worked on this project, you kind of gave him those details.
Now you give a prompt to the AI in parentheses. So I just gave I had Gaz help me make the prompt.
Because honestly, I've had my own experience, and that AI image is pretty freaking close. I've said this before. Like, if you want to know what at least I've seen, go watch Legends of the Fall, Brad Pitt. That person, Brad Pitt. And then I'm looking at this, and I'm like going, oh, cow.
I heard that before. I have heard you say that before. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad person to follow if he looks like Brad Pitt in Legends of the Fall, but just saying. No, okay. So one thing that was cool to me on this is like I just assumed like the war in heaven started immediately. It started the moment they started to create. Like there was resistance. Lucius was like he was like peaceful. He was like He was pursuing this plan, not with aggression, like with sincere intent, right? And it wasn't until they started the creation that the war began. Okay.
In motion, Lucius arose, equal in will and the invisible were crafted by their hands, bound together by the laws of the divine. But as the first creation was set in motion, Lucius arose, equal in wisdom, a brother of great standing, one of the mightiest of our kin. He stood before the hosts, his voice like fire, and he proclaimed his own design. Why should we risk our beloved? Why should any be lost? His reasoning was flawless, his vision elegant. His was a path of certainty. None would fall, none would suffer, none would be required to prove their worth, for worth was given, not earned.
This was a big deal. For whatever reason, this worth was what did it say? Worth was something not earned. Hold on.
Given, not earned.
Prove their worth, for worth was given, not earned.
Yeah, this like really resonated. There's a lot of on this. He's just saying these like you already are worthy. Like God created you, already are perfect. You know, like
Or maybe he's saying, listen, because we have no idea what kind of work that we had done prior to this time. We have no idea how long we existed prior to this time.
we do know that there were mighty ones and noble ones, so that there was progression.
There was, absolutely, because you can't be mighty. How does the term in Abraham? Many noble and great ones. Can't become noble and great if you didn't actually do something. So he was saying, we've already done the work. And now this plan must be, now you're going to tell us that we got to go start at base level. We're going to forget everything. All the work that we've done is going to be for naught. And there's probably other people that are like going to be able to start at that same base level, and they haven't even done as much work as we have, but they're going to be given the same opportunity. And so it just doesn't seem like it's a fair thing. It's like,
Boy, I never even thought of that. It's kind of like the worker in the vineyard. You know, like wait,
I've been here since hour one.
Yeah.
You're telling me the guy that shows up in the 11th hour is going to make just as much as I made? And I did all this work, and I'm sure that plan something like that must have existed. And it was causing not just Lucius, but many others that have been there since the first hour, saying the 11th hour guys are going to get the same opportunity as us.
That's a great point. That's a really good point. Okay, here we go. None would fall. Yeah, I could do a whole entire video on, and I probably should, on his plan. It's beautiful. Like, I know that sounds weird to say that Satan's plan was beautiful. It was beautiful.
None would suffer, none would be required to prove their worth, for worth was given, not earned, and many believed. Many turned from the decree of God and followed Lucius, for his words resonated with their fears, their longings, their desire for a path without pain. The rebellion began, not in fire and blood, but in persuasion, in rhetoric, in quiet conversations that spread like the whisper of a coming storm. A war of influence raged across the heavens, and the rebels grew in number. They waged battle, not with swords, but with words, loyalty, and deception. The conflict was fierce, for among those who turned away were not the weak, not the lesser, but the strongest, the brightest, the most gifted of our kind.
Yeah, this is important to talk about here.
Like that makes more sense to me than this idea that there was people with swords and they're like, like the war that we like envision down here in the celestial realm. We have to remember that this is taking place in realms higher than the celestial realms. And so the war is different.
You actually think that if it was a physical war that God couldn't go like that and just wipe everyone out? Like, of course he could. So it makes a lot of sense too. Yeah, this wasn't a physical war. The other thing that jumps out to me,
Persuasion.
what was that?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying the war was the debate.
Yes. And it was pulling people to what side? God's side, Lucius' side, like, or, you know, like what plan were you going to go on? And the thing that I'll back this up just a little bit, but it says something really prescient here. He's like, the ones that left, I always assumed the ones that left were the fence sitters, were the weak-minded, were the ones that just like capitulated and followed Satan. But it makes a lot of sense to think that the ones that followed him were some of the strongest, some of the wisest, and, you know, the most powerful. And with your point saying, hey, a lot of this 11th hour thing, it would make even more sense. Like maybe
Yeah, because
evolved ones.
the first hour people are going to have the most experience. They're going to be the most upset.
Must be true.
And so they're going to be the most likely ones to follow Satan, which means they're probably the most powerful ones because they don't agree that a 10th and 11th hour person can get in. The 10th and 11th hour person are the ones with the lesser amount of experience. That the plan really for them is this massive opportunity. So for them, the 11th hour people are like, yeah, sign me up for this.
Yep. Okay.
And the rebels grew in number. They waged battle, not with swords, but with words, loyalty, and deception. The conflict was fierce, for among those who turned away were not the weak, not the lesser, but the strongest, the brightest, the most gifted of our kind. 1/3 fell to his cause, and I was among them. I too rebelled.
So this to me is where the story was like, what? The story my bro remembers is him rebelling. Him saying,
Which is fascinating, by the way, because normally you're not like, especially if you're having a story about yourself, you're like, but I was valiant. And I followed God. And this, he's like, yeah,
but I rebelled. But I rebelled. Yeah. And what a plot twist. Okay. So, okay, we got to keep going here.
yeah, because the narrative is that if you did rebel, then, well, I'm not going to spoil. I'm not going to spoil it.
I fought to persuade, and 1/3 fell to his cause, and I was among them. I too rebelled. I fought to persuade, to convince, to turn the tide. I sought to bring others with me, for I believed that our way was salvation for all. I watched as my friends, my family, those I loved, stood beside me, forsaking the plan of our Father. And we knew one thing with certainty. Among all the universe.
Okay. This part,
Just so you know, that photo right there, that picture right there, that's a cool, like, is that supposed to be Heavenly Father with that white beard right there? That's a cool image.
all these David just freelance. He did a great job. But this part right here, I think I want to do a whole entire part on. It's Lucifer's plan. And this is what he says. He goes, this we know. Okay. And he told me, he's like, we knew this. All of us knew this. The side that was following God knew this. Us, we knew this. Like this was science for them. And what he explains here, I need to have like a 15-minute explanation of this. It's the Big Bang, explosion of the Big Bang through this creation. Eventually it hits expansion and it collapses. We know the Big Bang eventually is going to collapse back on itself. And as it does such, it pulls every single thing back into one single atom. And that was his plan of salvation, that everyone would be together, that all the intelligence would be combined on this Kolob-like atom. We'd all be together. That was his plan. Okay. And this is the cool part. He's like, this we knew. That among all the universes. Oh, the other thing? Okay, fame. The other thing is this plan they didn't like because all but Earth, where we're at, is lost. It's lost. And there's in his version, there's multiverses and universes, and it's all lost. Only this Earth is the one that pulls everything together and it collapses everything together and it erases everyone's existence except for this one place on Earth. And they saw that as inhumane. They saw that as unjust. They saw that as evil.
So slow down, go back. So you lost me.
Okay.
So who saw that? That's the Lucius plan.
They saw the third that left saw that as unjust. They saw that as a waste. They saw that as all those lives,
That everything would fall onto this earth that we're on right here.
and only a a portion or version or whatever that's on this earth would have like the true real experience, because all of the other eventualities would collapse into this version, and this is how God saves it. Okay, because if it doesn't, and if Satan wins and he's still fighting to win this plan, then it all is lost and it all gets sucked back into the black hole, and it all gets collapsed into this one tiny little thing. This is what's happening with the great expansion. If you look at any of like, science, and it's going to happen. We're all going to collapse back into this one singletary atom, all of us.
I mean, that's what science believes.
And that's what's going to happen unless something miraculous stops it.
Because that, like, just so you know, science and me, that like, I don't even get it. I don't even know what that means. It doesn't even compute in my head. Kind of like 1 times 1 doesn't compute in my head to equal 1 because it fails to multiply.
Yeah, Terrence Howard style. But the point being, I think this is cool because this actually is science's plan, and as I'm here and I'm reading this detailed explanation, I'm like, this is exactly what science believes. Exactly. And it would work too. I don't know how all the souls would be collapsed together and the intelligence all mushed together in that one atom, but there was a plan for it.
As my friends, my family, those I loved, stood beside me, forsaking the plan of our Father. And we knew one thing with certainty. Among all the universes, across all the multiverses, there would be only one where the Son of God would descend, only one where the atonement would be made, only one where the true war would be fought and won. We knew that in time, all things would collapse, that the
But this is the part right here, if you're wondering on the science. We knew that in time, all things would collapse.
Under whose
one.
plan?
We knew that in time,
Under all plans.
Okay.
In all plans, it collapses. And it all comes back together. And the only way God saves it is through the atonement.
Okay.
Yeah. But still wasn't good enough for these guys because so many people get lost.
all things would collapse, that the expansion would one day reverse, that in the end, all would return to a single point, a singularity, a crystallized intelligence, a superconscious reality where all things are one.
Pull up. It's their version of pull up.
Gotcha.
Lucius promised this return. He guaranteed it, and so we fought. But within the rebellion, another faction arose. Not all who followed Lucius sought salvation for all. Among us were those who envied the keys given to Christ and his chosen ones.
Okay, so very curious spin to this. So the third still think their battle is righteous. Okay, even Lucius believes his battle is righteous. Okay, there were some inside of that faction, inside of the third, that weren't doing it for good, but their hearts had turned to evil, and they sought to seek the life of Jesus. Okay, and it was this jealousy that began in them. So inside the third, there became like this evil part of the third. Okay, that sought blood, that sought destruction, that was jealous and envious of Christ.
Oh, interesting. So there's a rebellion in the rebellion?
Yes. Huge rebellion, a massive, massive problem. Okay. And these guys were not good. And here's the thing, like I'm saying they're not good. We all think the third's good. There was a good portion, the majority of the third were good. They thought they were choosing the right path. Now, this is according to this vision, dream, whatever this guy had, right? I'm just telling you what the details are.
Well, I would be curious if there are people that have literally had a similar thought, experience, vision. Man, share it in the comments. Because in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall every word be established. And this is something we have very little information on.
Okay. So can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay.
At what point after watching this episode?
Okay, here we go. There's a couple in here that say it. After watching Zion Media, where's this one at?
What Christmas girl say?
I believe I was placed with this crown of glory. It was a barrier of protection. I was told through a blessing I would now start to remember, but still have the protection upon me. So I've been given some prophecy, which has been a blessing, but no official remembrance. I do have an innate super desire to fulfill the plan and purpose, but most of it's unknown to me still. Only one key thing seems to be given, but seems insurmountable. The visuals are stunning. This imagery hits home, blah, 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 blah. Let's see.
There's more to what Christmas girl said, but I don't know if that, when you say read more.
Oh, this is a beautiful representation. Thank you, Zion Media. Okay, there's one. I wonder if this guy took it down. I gave him my phone number and email. So on point, after watching the episode Zion Media Music for a few days, the Holy Spirit shared, I am going to slow things down a bit. Then watching this powerful presentation, the Holy Spirit said, see, this is what I'm talking about. I have such confidence in this path the Zion Media is taking. We are doing things in line with directives from the throne, and the Lord wanted to slow things down a bit, and it is done. Obedience and honor. Bro, there's one, Shan. I wonder if it's just on my phone. And this guy said that he knows someone. I wonder if this is it.
A lovely story that could very well be true.
Yeah. I haven't read this. This is a new one. Yeah, he took it down. There was one, and he says that he knows this guy. He's Native American, and he has this exact story. Like, he was wondering if it was him.
Oh, interesting.
They gave him my email, so hopefully we'll get in contact with him. But yeah. Okay, so let's jump back in and go.
Lucifer sought salvation for all. Among us were those who envied the keys given to Christ and his chosen ones. These key clutchers, as they were called, sought after the keys of power, believing that in them lay dominion. But they did not seek the power itself.
I guarantee you that you put in the key clutcher thing. We're probably talking about it, but this is
I 100% put in the key, and it was after the haystack episode that I'm like, I am putting in these are the key clutchers, right? And they said, what are clutchers, bro?
okay. So you basically you took the story, helped dial this thing in the best you could to create the narrative, and keep it as true to form as his entire vision or whatever you want to call it. Gotcha. Okay.
And we talked about this prior, that anything that was done like this, that I'd say it on air. So yes, so far this is it. And everything's true except for what they called them, and I guarantee you they called them that.
Who envied the keys given to Christ and his chosen ones. These key clutchers, as they were called, sought after the keys of power, believing that in them lay dominion. But they did not seek the power itself, only the keys, forgetting that the power was God himself, flowing through those worthy to wield it. The key clutchers cared not for ascension, nor for unity, nor for salvation. Their desire was singular, to take that which was given to Christ, to wrest dominion from the rightful hands. And so the first secret combination was formed.
Booyah! Does that not make sense?
Whoa. So interpret, explain, help me understand.
First secret combination was made amongst these key clutchers, as I called them, right?
And these are the people that chose which plan.
Satan's plan.
Okay.
These are the rebellion inside the rebellion, and the first secret combination came from them. And then it was modeled in this world when the Watchers came and they taught the secret combinations, and we've never been able to get it out of our society. But this is where the first one started, and it makes so much sense. When I heard this, I'm like, that makes sense.
To wrest dominion from the rightful hands. And so the first secret combination was formed. Bound by blood oaths, by mutual imprecations, they sought to kill the Son of God. The war raged beyond time. It was longer than ages, longer than epochs.
He says in this thing that the creation of the universe is like billions and I think we're at like 14.2 billion years or 13.2 billion. He said this was billions of years of a war.
Oh, so this thing's been going on for a minute.
billions of years.
And in the midst of it, God, in his infinite justice, extended one final offer of redemption. Any who would return could do so, standing on even ground with the loyalists, as if they had never rebelled. And so I chose. I turned from Lucis. I returned to the side of God. And in those final days of war, I fought not to destroy, but to redeem. I reached out to those who had stood beside me, and I brought millions back with me. Not alone, never alone, but with others who had also seen the truth. And for this we were given crowns of glory, not as a reward, but as a protection, a shield against those who still bore hatred for us, those who sought vengeance for our betrayal. Even now they recognize us. They see us in the streets, in the forgotten places of the world, sometimes in the eyes of the broken, the lost, the possessed, sometimes through the mouths of the wandering, the mad. They see us and they know, and still they hate. For the war is not over. The battle did not end in heaven. It descended with us. It wages on, unseen by most, but felt by all. And so, let this be a warning. To seek power is to manifest God's will, but to seek only the keys and place them above power itself is a curse.
I put that in. There was no warning. I like this picture David did next year.
The key clutchers are lost, hoarding what they do not understand, obsessed as Gollum with his precious ring. For the key itself is nothing without the one who wields it. And now the dream fades, but the memory remains. For this was not a story told, nor a vision imagined. I lived this. And though time and veil obscure, it returns to me piece by piece, and I remember.
All right.
Dude, that is so epic. Not to put you on the spot, but does that resonate with you at all? I mean, is that
And some of the stuff that resonates with me is like, I know for a fact I've like on my mission and post, I've had homeless people, like possessed homeless people, like recognize me. And so when I heard that part of it, it kind of freaked me out a little. I'm like, ugh. Hopefully I wasn't part of the 1/3. It resonates me with, like I had this guy on our mission who I went to Peru, total homeless guy. And he started talking to me, and my companions spoke Spanish completely. And the guy was weird. I could tell there was something off. It's like my first experience, first companion. And all of a sudden he locks eye contact with me, and in perfect English, no accents, zero accents. He starts saying, and I saw a column of light descended upon me. And he like did the word for word thing of the first vision. And I just like every hair on my body stood up, and I ran into my mission companion. He was inside this like cafe getting bread. And I'm like, I'm trying to say it in English and Spanish, and I can't get it out of me. So yeah, it would make complete sense that those souls are down here and they're trying to embody people. And I feel like I've had a couple of experiences where I have been recognized. And I don't know if that's, they just recognize us from the past, or if I was part of that, rebellion or whatnot. But yeah, this hits home in me a lot, because I've always been intrigued by this war in heaven. And, how could you not follow Father's plan,
well, and I hope this, as you guys are watching this out there, if you've had something similar and you've written it down and you've had an experience like this, there's a way to share it in a way that doesn't disclose who you are. Um, and we can do that. And that's really what we're showing here is we have the technology available to us and the human capital available to us to take these stories, these visions, these experiences, these memories, I don't know what they are, and put them into something that's digestible. I'm actually really excited to see if we could do almost a whole hour and a half long, more in detail, taking kind of what this guy sent to you and turn it into something that, like, it would be an epic movie. Totally.
Yeah, I think you could. I think we need to get a, maybe just take some liberties like they do with the Testament movie, with the scriptures, because it'd be really good to see the opposite side, like what happened to the people that followed, what was their experience, and try to weave in it. But dude, there's an event.
Furthermore, do you have an instance like the prodigal son type instance where Heavenly Father says, "Okay, I'm gonna allow one more chance for redemption," and then you have these people getting to come back, and then you have another faction of people that are like mad that these guys are getting another opportunity to come back. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that could happen there for sure.
A lot. And there's enough content in his Google Doc to probably have 2 or 3 hours of stuff if, depending on how much you wanted to dig into it. But nonetheless, we're going to create content like this on Zion Media, and we're looking for inspiration and stuff like this that we can put out there and that'll just resonate with people. And this right here is a quick little preview. This is how the sausage is made. So I have a friend, a girl, and not a girlfriend, but a girl who's a friend. And she had this amazing dream or experience when she was a child. And I said, can I make a movie out of this? So I'm making the rough draft, and then David will make it pretty. Bear with us a little. I'm only going to show you a minute, but what we did is we took her dream and put it into a grandmother telling it to her granddaughter. And hopefully this is going to turn out to maybe like a 12-minute video when it's all said and done.
The grandmother's story, the fire, crackled softly in the hearth, filling the cozy room with warmth. A young girl, no more than 7, nestled into the crook of her great-grandmother's arm, her wide, curious eyes reflecting the flickering glow of candlelight. "Tell me a story, Grandma," she whispered, pulling the quilt tighter around her small frame. The old woman chuckled, brushing a silvery strand of hair from the girl's face. "A story, Mel? My darling, I will tell you a story unlike any other. It is not a tale of far-off lands or make-believe kingdoms. It is a story that truly happened to me," the girl gasped, sitting up eagerly. "A real story?" Her great-grandmother nodded.
A memory, one so vivid that even now, in the autumn of my years, I can still see it as clearly as if it happened yesterday. She leaned in, lowering her voice to a gentle hush. "It all began when I was just about your age, right after my baptism. I had been praying, my heart full of faith, yearning for something I barely understood at the time. I wanted to know my Heavenly Mother. I wanted to feel her love, to see her as I had been taught about my Father in heaven. Now, it is a little embarrassing to admit, and you just might be the only person I've ever told this exact detail to, but I was praying in the bathroom, and that is where it happened. I must have fallen into a deep sleep, though it felt nothing like a dream. One moment I was kneeling on the tiled floor, whispering my prayer, and the next I awoke in a place unlike anything I had ever seen before. I stood in a glorious field, bathed in golden light, surrounded by nature so perfect, so vibrant, that my heart nearly burst.
Well, this is cool. I haven't seen that one.
Yeah. So you get the idea.
Yeah, awesome. Well, this is cool. Yeah, I mean, Trev, we are living in an incredible time. I mean, I get texts from you at least once a week that says this. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Time.
We are still living in the greatest timeline ever right now. And boy, isn't that true. The fact that we can create this stuff and these images and get this information out and deliver it to the masses. Can you imagine if 2,000 years ago Jesus was here, but with this technology?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty cool. And maybe when it says the gospel would be shared all over the world, we tend to think that it means, oh, there's got to be missionaries knocking on doors sharing the gospel. Maybe what the Lord meant was YouTube. And with Starlink, now everybody's going to have access to the internet, which means if you have access to the internet, you have access to the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. So it is in those parts of the world. Trevor, what's going on in your brain right now? Are you reading a text from a girl?
Yeah,
He is.
a good guess.
I know that.
Wait, is it that obvious?
I mean, um, all right, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap up. I don't know, Trev, any final thoughts?
Keep them coming, guys. Send us your info, and we'll do our best to sift through them. Apologies if we don't get back to you. There's a lot that comes in at once sometimes, but we'll do our best.
I feel so bad. Honestly, it's like trying to run multiple businesses, have 4 kids, a wife, and 3 dogs, yeah, and I try to respond to everything coming in. If we miss something, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best job I can, and I don't have an assistant. I need to have somebody. I have a friend of, our family and Angie and oh, we've had her on, April MacGyver. She's moving back out here, and she's like, "Hey, if you need me to jump in and respond and do things for you," I'm like, "Hey, when you get out here to Utah, I may have you do that just because I don't wanna miss anybody." But it's so much between text messages, WhatsApp messages, phone calls, and everything in between, emails. It's like, holy crap. Like, I pull open Instagram and I've got, a bunch of unread DMs, and so, it's a lot. It's a lot more than I bargained for. Freak. A year ago this time, I was able to manage everything perfectly. This Zion Media, is truly where the journey begins.
And let's not forget, you basically full Nelsoned me into doing this. I did not want to do this.
That's true because I knew that I needed to do this, but I didn't want to have a podcast. I needed somebody else that could, uh, was more charismatic than I am and smarter than I am. And Trevor is both of those things. And so I was like, he's got to come on and do this because if I can't make it, I know he could host a show easily, like in his sleep. So it's it's awesome to have.
Absolutely. I'm glad we did it. I was scared. I didn't want to express my views publicly because I have weird views, you know?
Yeah. No, but I think we've created a safe space for people to come on. And you've seen us. We've had people that think they're the Davidic servant to somebody who just joined the church a few months ago. And so we're trying to cover the spectrum. We hope that you use the gift and power of the Holy Ghost that is within all of us to discern truth from error. But boy, after watching that thing on the pre-existence, I need to dig into that document a little more, because it sounds like whoever saw that, is starting to remember. And even in there, I love how it's like bits and pieces and fragments continue to come to this person. So while they've got this big thing, I'm sure they're still wake up and here's a little bit more, and here's a little drip, and here's a little bit here. So listen, if you've had dreams, you're having visions, or these things are happening and we know they're going to happen, and maybe there's an uptick in them happening, we want to be able to capture that and share it as long as it fits into, I guess, I don't see this, that information, uh, doesn't conflict with any doctrine that I've ever read ever on the topic of the pre-existence. In fact, it rounds it out.
Yeah, it helps me understand it better.
Yeah. So, okay.
Makes me have a lot of empathy for the third that left.
Yeah, totally. Well, Adam, I mean, sorry, I don't know if you might have to edit that name out. The guy that shared it, thank you so much for sharing that. Super powerful. We appreciate it. And if any of you have had experiences like that, like share them with us. Any final thoughts for our first Key of Baldwin podcast?
I'm going to Mexico tomorrow.
Fortunately, we have enough content that we aren't going to have to record, which means a break for me. I've got to do a bunch of Isaiah episodes, but that's about it. So
I'd like to do a couple when I'm gone. I'm just sitting in a beach house, you know.
Okay. Well, I would love to do that. Hey, and if you think you'd be a good guest on Zion Media, hit us up. Like, where do they go, Trev? Contact us.
Our link form. Yeah, click on Linktree, and then there's a contact us button once you get inside there.
Yeah, if you'd like to be a guest or you think somebody else would be a good guest on our show, we're always looking for good guests.
We're having Alex Jones, ex-producer, on next week. His name's Shepard Ambellis. You can look the dude up, and he wrote a new book. And Alex Jones, executive producer. It's gonna be cool.
I'm excited about that one. And not to forget, I think we talked about this, but I just want to remind people, if you are of the line of Joseph Smith, Hiram Smith, and you hold that line and you're single, ready to mingle, like, hey, we've laid out a plan. It seems like it could be a really amazing plan. Michael Key's line with the Joseph Smith, Hiram Smith line, maybe there's something there. So, okay. For myself, I'm Shane Baldwin. For Trevor the Key Keys, thank you for tuning in and supporting Zion Media. Make sure you check out all of our other videos. If this is the first one you've ever seen, go start at the beginning, and that is where the journey begins. We'll see you guys all next time.
Yeah. They wonder how we move, how we shine so bright. Boy, we building up the kingdom, we ain't waiting for the light. I be serving, I be stacking, I be living how I talk. They be flexing for the moment, I be building what don't stop. I hold doors, I break bread, shake hands, keep the fam fed. Ain't about just what I get, boy, it's about what I invest. I be running plays, I make it flip, give it back, never let it sit. I be building something big, boy, we on a mission, not just commentary. I see the need, I make the play. I drop the bag and walk away. Ain't about flexing, about who you raise. Boys, I am built by those who stay. We the light, we the wave, yeah, we Zion made. Got the keys, got the plans, yeah, we self-made. Big whips, big checks, but the heart stay clean. Boy, the saints stay serving while they live in the dream. Kingdom rise. Seen it prophesied. We ain't slowing down, we just building up Zion till we get that Porsches, Teslas, Hummers, jets. Boy, we blessed, we ain't flex, we just building, we invest. Make it double, then we bless. Lift the poor, move with grace. Every step we set the pace. I don't wait, I don't chase, I just plan and watch it take. I see the need, I make the play. I drop the bag and walk away. Ain't about flexing, about who you raise. Boys, I am built by those who stay. We the light, we the wave, yeah, we Zion made. Got the keys, got the plans, yeah, we self-made. Big whips, big checks, but the heart stay clean. Boy, the saints stay serving while they live in the dream. Kingdom rise. Seen it prophesied. We ain't slowing down, we just building up Zion till we get that. I be counting on my blessings, never counting on a wish. I be smiling when I serve, keep that love up in the mix. They be wondering how we do it, how we glowing like we rich. Boy, we kingdom made, spirit paid, whole life legit. Yeah, I be floating way up in the sky.